Sure, I poke fun at vegetarians, but between you and me, I eat vegetarian 80% of the time.
No!
Relax, Panos. I love meat, but I believe meat is a treat to be enjoyed on occasion, kind of like cheesecake or blackouts. First up, a Chana Dansak curry. It's sweet, it's spicy, it's creamy, and it's bursting with the flavors of ginger and tamarind. Then we're cooking up naturally gluten-free buckwheat pancakes, topped with tender new potatoes and a creamy raclette cheese sauce. And last but not least, vegan nut cheese. Yeah, okay. We're cooking up a you wouldn't even know it's vegan, dark chocolate and caramelized banana pie. The spice agent reports on fenugreek.
It is proven that fenugreek seeds increases milk in lactating women by 900%, Nadia.
What the fork? You're watching Nadia G's Bitchin' Kitchen, Veg Head Extravaganza!
I can't watch this, bro.
When I was a teenager, I became a vegetarian because animals are people too. Back then, I also thought Braveheart was a deep film and a lizard tattoo meant something more than I am a twit. Today, I eat mostly vegetarian not for political reasons, but because it's healthy and affordable. Granted, there's some cheap meat out there, but personally, I'd rather get my protein from a hangnail than 3 pounds of mystery beef for $3.99, so let's get cooking. We'll start with our Parsi chickpea curry called Chana Dansak. It's sweet, it's spicy. This curry's the real deal. None of this, me and Charles love to use the mild curry powder. It's so exotic stuff. Nah. Heat, 4 tablespoons of ghee in a saucepan on medium. Ghee is basically clarified butter. See, what we consider an occasional delicacy that's served on the side of lobster, Indians cook with every day. Smart. This ghee has already been warmed to a liquid. We'll smash 3 cloves of garlic, mince 1 hot chili, peel and mince 1 knob of ginger. Oh man, peeling ginger sucks.
Are you tired of chopping through ginger? Have you suffered nicks or cuts trying to hack through hell? Have you ever killed a man? Whammo! Ginger Crusher 3000. Well, now with the Ginger Crusher 3000, you can finally mince ginger without the satanic bloodbath. Order now and get a garlic press free.
Saute for 1 minute until the garlic is golden and fragrant. When we get back, we're gonna make a Dansak masala spice mix from scratch, and I'm gonna dispel a few myths about vegetarianism, so stay hungry. A satanic bloodbath? It's not foreplay, it's a wedgie. A wedgie. Hey! Today on Bitchin' Kitchen, we're doing a Veg Head Extravaganza, and we're gonna dispel a few myths about vegetarianism. Myth number 1. Vegetarians lack protein. Listen, they might be a little bit stringy, but trust me, they can sustain you for months. Myth number 2, carbs make you fat. No, fat makes you fat, you nerds. Myth number 3, tofu sucks. Well, it depends what you do with it. Plus, you don't need to use tofu just because you're making a vegetarian dish. That's like saying all meat dishes require filet mignon, or all food personalities require personality. To our garlic, ginger, and chili-infused ghee, throw in 1 diced red onion, and saute this for about 12-15 minutes until you get some nice crispy edges. They add so much flavor. Now to make a dansak, you need to toast a few spices. And when I say a few, I mean a load. You ready for this? Heat a pan on medium-high. And throw in a tablespoon of cumin seeds, fennel seeds, coriander seeds, cardamom seeds, sesame seeds, peppercorns, 1 tablespoon of turmeric. Oh, it's not over yet. 3 cloves, quarter teaspoon of nutmeg, quarter teaspoon of cinnamon, and half a teaspoon of fenugreek seeds. Toast for 30 seconds until fragrant. But Nadja, here's a spice agent with more on fenugreek.
Thank you, Nadia. You mentioned so many spices, I almost had to call my agent. But then I realized it doesn't exist. Fenugreek is both an herb and a spice. The leaves are spinach-like and bitter, but the seeds, they taste like maple syrup. It's true. They taste so much like maple syrup that they're the main ingredients in artificial maple syrup. Here's some thought for food. Fenugreek originated in the Middle East. How strange is it that in a land where there's no sugar maple trees, a maple syrup flavor exists within the fenugreek seed? Kinda makes you wonder, is there a beautiful Yechezkel in a parallel universe like Alabama? Where are you, Yechezkel? Come back. Come back home. Come to me.
Thanks,
Yechezkel Mizrahi.
Our spices are nice and toasted. Now we're just gonna grind them up. This is the technique of the ancients. We have the spices in our onion mixture. The old scrape and plop, huh? And stir for about 1 minute.
You know, Nads, those spices look amazing. But you know what will make them even more amazinger? Some plum juicy chicken.
Panos, this is a vegetarian episode, huh?
Vegetarian. That's all how you look at things, bro. They say you are what you eat, right? Well, chickens eat grain. So wouldn't that make chicken a grain?
Deglaze with 4 cups of organic vegetable stock. Add 1 tablespoon of tamarind paste, tamarind. Ma, with oranges it's rind, with this it's rind. Ma, not your freaking pronunciation. The second it starts to boil, throw in 3/4 of a cup of red split lentils. They add an amazing texture. And 1 diced sweet potato. Simmer for about 15 minutes until the potatoes are tender. Ah, this smells amazing. The ginger, garlic, onions, all those exotic spices. Now we're gonna throw in 1 cup of chana, chickpeas. A big handful of minced coriander, about 1/4 cup. And a generous pinch of sea salt, or 2. Give it a good stir and just let it heat through 5 minutes. Let's plate this dish. We'll ladle in some of this creamy chana dansak. Top it off with some crispy onions. Just grab an onion, slice it nice and thin, and deep fry it for not even a minute in 375-degree oil. And serve with whole wheat pita, naan, or disdain. Bon appetit. Woo! I love this curry. So spicy with the sweetness from the tamarind. You got the creaminess of the lentils, the sweet potato. I go into detail about the complexity of the spices, but it may just give me an asthma attack, so take my word for it. It's good. When we get back, we're gonna make raclette-inspired buckwheat pancakes that are naturally gluten-free. Stay hungry. It's a bit obscure, that recipe, no?
Whatever, they're watching for shoes.
It's true. Today we're cooking up vegetarian recipes, and this next dish is also gluten-free. I'll never forget the first time I tried a gluten-free cookie. I bit into it and said, so that's what gluten is. The stuff that makes a cookie good. Just kidding. I didn't say anything. I spit it out. But the point is, lots of people have gluten allergies these days. So instead of trying to turn David Spade into David Beckham, why not cook up a recipe that's naturally gluten-free? My buckwheat pancake raclette. Let's do it. We'll start by boiling 2 cups worth of new potatoes in salted water for about 15 minutes until tender. I never get tired of saying that. Next, we'll make the batter. In a big bowl, add 1 cup of buckwheat flour, 1 cup of whole milk, half a cup of water, 1 egg, small pinch of sea salt, and whisk until it's nice and smooth. Beautiful. We'll just set it aside for 30 minutes to rest. Could do what it wants, Facebook, Twitter, it's not my business. Let's talk raclette. Now, raclette is a pungent cheese from Switzerland. It reminds me a little bit of Oka cheese and puffins. What? Everyone's got different schemata. Heat a pot on medium-low. Add 1 cup of table cream. The second it starts to steam, don't let it boil. Take it off the heat and add 2 cups of finely grated, buttery, ripe raclette cheese. Add a little bit of freshly cracked peps and keep stirring until you have a silky smooth sauce. Cover it up. This way it stays nice and hot while we make our pancakes. Heat a non-stick pan on medium. Add 1 tablespoon of unsalted butter and use a paper towel to completely grease this pan. Now, add a little under a 1/4 cup of our buckwheat batter and swirl it around so you get a nice, even, thin layer of pancake goodness. Because these are gluten-free, they're gonna look more like crepes. When you see bubbles form around the edge, flip it over. Voila! And cook for 2 more minutes until it's nice and golden and completely cooked through. Obviously. Let's plate this dish. We have about 3 pancakes, a few new potatoes. I've cut them in half. Ladle on this gorgeous raclette sauce. Now we're gonna drizzle on just a touch of maple syrup to contrast the creamy saltiness of the cheese sauce. A few gherkins on the side. This is the traditional way of eating raclette. And shkoff!
Nads, those pancakes look fantastic. But you know what would make them even more fantasticer? Some Virginia hickory smoked ham, bro. Imagine, savory ham covered in that cheese sauce with sweet maple syrup.
Panos, this is a vegetarian episode.
Vegetarian, let me tell you something. You don't think those innocent potatoes suffer, huh? The truth must come out, bro.
What you're about to see is beyond your worst nightmare. But for millions of potatoes killed in fry houses, it's a cold, inescapable reality. Once you see for yourself the cruelty involved in raising potatoes for food, you'll understand why 7 compassionate people have decided to leave potatoes off their plates for good.
Fluffy buckwheat pancakes, buttery new potatoes, this creamy raclette cheese sauce contrasted with sweetness from the maple syrup. I'm telling you, this is absolutely delicious. Plus, it's gluten-free, so it won't give you the schwitz. When we get back, we're gonna make a dark chocolate and caramelized banana pie, talk about strange diets, and potentially use the word tender again. Hello. Welcome back to our Veg Head extravaganza. Have you ever heard of the blood type diet theory? It basically states that people with different blood types are genetically required to eat specific things. And for type O, meat is mandatory. I know this because one of my best friends is type O, and she's been scoffing tons of meat for years and years. Surprisingly, her cholesterol level is that of a 60-year-old truck driver. The point is, don't believe what you want to hear and eat some vegetarian dishes once in a while, huh? Huh? On to our vegan pie. Now everybody makes fun of vegans, but in their defense, they're the only humans that aren't sucking on a cow teat at 40. So we're gonna make a you wouldn't even know it's vegan dark chocolate and caramelized banana pie. It's delicious. In a big bowl, add 1 cup of unsweetened shredded coconut, shredded. Half a cup of pulverized almonds, 1/4 cup of melted cocoa butter, and a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and a small pinch of salt. Mix it up good. Oh, this smells amazing. The coconut, the almond. So good. Now grease a 7-inch pie mold with some more melted cocoa butter. and scaff this in the pie mold, making sure to bring it up the sides a bit. I love working with my hands. It's so old school. It reminds me of the angels. Now we'll bake the crust in a 300-degree oven for 20-25 minutes until it's nice and golden. Filling time! Get a double boiler going on medium heat and throw in 1 cup of quality dark chocolate, chopped. Stir until melted. Good. Let it cool for 10 minutes. We're gonna make our filling now. In a bowl, add 1 cup of silken tofu, 2 tablespoons of soy milk, tablespoon of maple syrup, and our melted dark chocolate. Blend until it's super smooth. You want to keep mixing for a good 5 minutes until it's completely smooth and nice and silky. You don't want to see little balls of tofu in there. It's one thing to use tofu. It's another thing to show that you did. Sakata. Let's get our pie crust out of the oven. Look at this gorgeous pie crust, so golden. Let it cool down a bit. Do a fireball or something so we can pretend to cool this thing. Shh. Our pie crust is cooled. Time to add the filling. Admit it, you're jealous that I'm slathering this chocolate, eh? It looks so much fun, slathering. Cover it up and pop this in the fridge for about an hour to cool. We're gonna top this pie off with some caramelized banana. And when I say we, I mean the royal we, because you're at home sitting in your jammo, super comfy, you're so comfy, yes. Grab 2 bananas and slice them into 1/4-inch discs. Now dip them in raw sugar. I'm gonna dip 2 at a time, but I don't recommend trying this at home. This is only if you have advanced cooking skills. Broil these suckers at the top rack for a couple of minutes until the sugar is caramelized. How gorgeous is this eye makeup? Seriously, perfectly shaded. Let's get our pie out of the fridge. Now we're gonna garnish this pie with a layer of our caramelized banana. Make sure they're completely cooled. Start in the middle and work your way around in circles. How beautiful is this? Look at this. Just look at it. I'm gonna wash my hands. Ideally, you'd want to chill this in the fridge for another hour to set. But I'm gonna scoff it right now, because I'm out of control. No one can control me!
Nads, that pie looks spack. But you know what will make it even more spacker?
Oh, no.
Don't worry, Nads. I've made peace. I just want to offer a nice tall glass of ice-cold milk.
Toasted coconut and almonds, this creamy, dark, rich chocolate, the caramelized bananas, as the old Italian saying goes about veganism. Now, vegan who? Today we cooked up 3 bitchin' vegetarian dishes so good, you don't need to own a pleather purse to enjoy them. But I don't need to convince you that meat-free meals are delicious. You're all pretty open-minded when it comes to food. In closing, I just want to say that I think it's unfair that my producers deem $30K in wardrobe excessive. You're on TV, you want to look nice, people take photos. You can't wear the same thing twice. It is what it is. Said at a closing statement, not a relevant closing statement. Alla prossima!